Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast, episode 6. This week's episode is brought to you by the RNLI, captained by Sol Campbell. So Dan, a week of some action and then not much action thanks to a waterlogged pitch.
Yeah, well, not for us anyway. Everyone else seemed to manage to play though, didn't they?
He did. My theory is Sol's left the bath running too long, and it's got nothing to do with the rain.
It looked crazy from that photo, which I think was tweeted by one of their players.
Yeah, at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And then the club said they'd make a decision at 1:30 p.m, and then finally at like 2:15, they declared the game to be off. I mean, I know that's the ref at the end, but I mean, what does he need to do? Stick a yardstick in it and see how deep it was?
Yeah, I mean, you can see quite clearly that. I remember when like that game was called off last year at St James Park, the Boxing Day one.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's getting called off, that was like there's quite a bit of water. Couldn't really brush it off. Couldn't get rid of it. Come on, look at it.
Well, shout out to all the Exeter City fans who are now floating their way back down the X, I'm assuming, all rivers.
It's all joined up now with the Macclesfield pitch. Yeah.
We basically live in the Netherlands where it's all below sea level.
Cool.
Well, anyway, so that was a non-starter. So that's why you're only hearing from us on Thursday, listeners. We were expecting to have an action-packed game to talk to you about, a response to the fairly dreary away loss to Northampton Town.
Yeah, it was all planned, wasn't it?
Planned perfectly.
Yeah, we'd do it Wednesday. We'd both take the day off work. We haven't done that, but you know.
We could have done.
We might have done.
The Met Office doesn't know that.
Yeah, cheers, ref.
Anyway, so we've only got one game to talk to you about, and it was Northampton away, and it was pretty lacklustre.
Yeah, it certainly sounded that way from on the radio.
And, you know, Taylor, he's not cross, he's not livid yet, but he's certainly fed up.
Yeah.
2 games in a row, 2 first-half performances, where it sounds like the lads just haven't really...
Just no-shows from almost everyone.
Matt Jay, everyone's full of praise for Jay, again, and, you know, he's been a kind of shining light over the last few weeks. Some goals, some real kind of, well, performance of effort, if nothing else.
Well, he always had that.
He did.
Every time we've seen him as a first-team player, he's always had endless energy and, you know, putting himself about, but it was just getting those couple of really, and because they're really important goals too, it really kind of like, oh, we've had a change, you know, and then now it's just back to, I'm not blaming him even really, you know, like he can't do it all on his own, especially being the sort of stature of player he is, and like, you know,
there was that goal-mouth scramble first half at Northampton where, you know, there was nothing he could have done. He was just in hope hitting it, and then the defenders and the keeper could have dived either way, and they guessed right.
Yeah. And
it was saved. I mean, if that had gone in, Jay's kind of man of the century, isn't he?
Yeah.
But alas, there's not much he could do. And then since that happened, they were very lacklustre by all accounts.
Yeah, we can't just blame it all on bad luck, can we? It's the same with the last game where we had the last home game.
Tranmere.
Who was that again? Tranmere. Yeah, where second half we had all those chances, and we can't blame it on unlucky again. And like you see all these lists where it's like Exeter City hit the post more than any other team in Europe this season. You can't just blame it on. Oh, if only it wasn't for, like, you know...
Well, no, the goal
luck.
was very clearly defined as in between the posts. If we're not getting in between the posts, we're not scoring.
Yeah,
that's that. And, you know, you add them up. There's that game. There's Northampton Saturday. There's Tranmere. There was Grimsby back at the turn of the year. And you think, well, actually, the difference between no points and 1 point, the difference between 1 point and 3 point, that is huge difference to what's a very, very tight league.
Yeah, and it really is tight as well.
Yeah, it really is. So we're going to need some response. And I don't mean effort, although that's great, and it's good to see that effort there. We just need some goals by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
We need someone to get someone in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can't compare the glorious European-wide fame of that striped shirted team with just one of the world's best players in them, Exeter City, to, you know, that team from Italy, Juventus. But somehow when Ronaldo's there, he just makes it happen. And, obviously, you can't compare...
Ronaldo. That's bad luck as well that we didn't get him.
But there are players who exist, and Flack was one of these players, and Curitan was one of those players.
I can think of one more.
Yeah, we're not mentioning him, but they just made it go in.
No, I don't mean Bowser. I meant... Yeah. I know.
So, in a sense, the thing that we haven't replaced with Stockley isn't his brilliant skill or his ability. It's just thinking, I'm making this happen and no one's stopping me.
Yeah.
And at the minute, we don't really have that. And Bowman should be that man, I think. Like, as in, he's a like-for-like replacement, but it hasn't happened for him. So
well,
who else is going to step up, you know?
He's someone who can presumably use his kind of height and his build to impose himself.
Yeah.
But he's not a goal getter.
Well, did you see on Instagram where he's been this week?
No, where's he been?
Well, he's not a goal getter, he's an ice cream getter. He's been down Casper's, the dessert-themed restaurant on South Street.
Wow.
So, you know, Ryan, whatever you need, the instinct you feel to grab that Knickerbocker glory...
Whatever you need, you're not getting it from a Casper's ice cream.
Have you ever been there?
I have been there once. A friend of ours is very enthusiastic about that place.
Well, he's very enthusiastic about puddings, isn't he?
He is.
Shout out to Dave the Growler.
And, I went there once with him, and, yeah, it's rubbish. It's awful.
Is it all puddings?
But, there's a million different choices of ice cream, and, it's all ice cream.
It's all ice cream?
Yeah, maybe you can get a brownie or something as well, but with ice cream. But I didn't try every single thing on the menu, but I'll bet you any money, every single thing tastes exactly the same, and that is of nothing. Tastes of nothing. Gross.
Is that right?
Yeah.
If I was
For kids.
Okay, if I was a crueler man, I'd say that Ryan Bowman should stop hanging around with puddings and...
What's he doing at Exeter City then? Getting that nutrition in.
At least it's on the internet for us all to see. So we're going to need something. We're going to need someone from somewhere. If promotion or playoffs is going to happen this season, Lord, we just need someone to make it go in the net.
Well, it's playoffs now, isn't it?
It's absolutely playoffs, and it's looking dicier by the day, isn't it?
At best. It's playoffs at best. Automatics are, that's out now. It's out the window. I'm calling it.
Yeah, it is out the window. Now, the game was cancelled yesterday. We're recording this on...
Wednesday morning. And
shout out to my work colleagues. And...
They don't listen to this.
Let's do that again.
Let's leave that bit in. They genuinely don't listen to this.
Oh, yeah, all right. Well, anyway, shout out to them, working hard. But Macclesfield was called off. I think maybe that was a blessing in disguise.
Oh, could well have been, yeah.
Taylor said they were going to have a rocket up them and, we wouldn't see the same game and whatever. But Saturday to Tuesday's tricky, innit, with a trip to the northwest in between times. So hopefully the week off playing a full match, and on what would have been a kind of heavy pitch, means that we come back to Colchester on Saturday full of renewed vigour.
Let's hope so.
And ice cream, Ryan Bowman.
And with hopefully some players a bit fitter and back in the side, perhaps we could maybe see Boateng start. It's an option, isn't it?
I think it could be an option. And, he's a man who can turn something. And if someone's willing to get on the end of some of the things he does, we should see some response.
He's looked good, hasn't he? I think in the glimpses we've seen of him. And obviously early on this season before that injury, he was involved in a lot of our goals and our good play. So hopefully that'll be an extra little week of training, and I'd like to see him start. I think that'd be really good. We know this league is all about momentum, isn't it? Whoever gets that momentum now is going to shoot up. Look at Tranmere; they look like one of the teams currently on a bit of a roll, and
Absolutely.
they're just rising up, aren't they? But maybe the week off is good because we've got a bit of negative momentum.
Yeah,
and maybe we need to have a little. We need to stop that. We need to start again, and hopefully we can get a good home win over a promotion rival or a playoff rival.
Yeah.
we could just. We've always been a bit streaky, haven't we? So like all League Two teams. So hopefully this will be the start of a new one.
On the edge of the great Dartmoor lies Exeter, city of Devon and of England too. Ancient Britons built their wooden huts alongside the River Exe, and from their mud walls defied the Roman invaders.
Saturday's fixture sees us at home to Colchester United. Dan, what are you thinking about this?
This is a tough one, isn't it?
Well, they're all over the shop.
They really are. They're a real kind of Jekyll and Hyde kind of team, it seems like, aren't they? You know, like winning 3-0, losing 3-0, winning 3-0 again, losing. It's weird, isn't it?
It's
bizarre.
And they've been on the edge of the playoffs all the time. And I suppose that's because they're picking up 3 points every other week.
Yeah.
So we're hitting them in a sense at the right time. They just got thumped. But, we're...
Well, traditionally, yeah. And what we're talking about momentum, I suppose this whole thing goes out the window because it didn't seem to affect them.
It would be really... We say it every week, don't we, at the minute? But we just want to see first half 0-0. Can we go on and just,
I want to see a goal in the first half. We started too slowly the
I think
last
that's
2 games.
True.
We've got to come out like... I mean, I know it's like the kind of... Again, it's another kind of like thing we keep talking about, but I think it's a good benchmark. It's like, look, we've got to come out in the same way we did in that MK Dons game. I know it's not easy to get as fired up for Colchester United as it is for like, your old...
I'm calling it the Roman Derby. Battle of the Caesars.
Is that a big old Roman place too?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Colchester.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's Roman, isn't it? Roman Essex town.
I want to say it's in... Oh, you already said Essex, okay. I was going to say somewhere in the southeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Essex,
Right.
a Roman town. So, I'm calling it the Caesar Derby.
Caesar's salad.
Caesar salad. Well, you're right. We're not going to get as up for it as MK, but we're going to need something.
No, maybe not,
response.
because that's that game.
Because otherwise, playoffs is drifting away.
Yeah, that game was, that's our incentive. Is like, a bit of a kind of rivalry with that, but we've still got an incentive. The incentive is we got to fight them for these playoff places.
Yeah,
that's the fight. And if we can't get up for that, like if we see another like lackluster thing, I think they're not.
Yeah, that's right. And the stadium's fuller than it's been in years. It's great. People are really making a fuss.
I think you might see that quickly drop off though if we keep putting performances like.
Well, of course.
Of
course.
People are like, I don't want to go to this.
No.
If you're like kind of on the edges of thinking like,
Yeah, that extra
or
1,000 people
you're
we've been picking up.
You're a student or something, and you think, I might go along, get into this, and you go on, and it's like awful, and
Yeah, that's right, and we're just going to need that response. But I would hope that they're professional footballers. They, Taylor keeps talking about there being some young lads in the team. Well, they should be excited for it, and I think they are. But some of the older heads just need to be a bit more, well, I'm just going to, forgive the terminology, wang it in the middle and see what happens. I'm going to throw my head at it and see what happens. We just want to see that a bit. The play's been lovely, lots of great passing, lots of good running, but you can't get completely excited about that if you're also not seeing some bullets into the 6-yard box,
Yeah.
So I just want to see some of that. And I'd hope that, Taylor's tasked them up for, you're exactly right, 5 shots on goal in the first 10 minutes.
Well, that's what I want to see. And, it's just like, let's try and like just test the keeper. Let's try and work out, like, let's just get some shots in. Like, however they come, like just so we can like, that can be the kind of like really quickly. So that's the kind of, just to set the game off. Just like, let's try and have a shot quick as possible. Not like, I appreciate the kind of like, we move it around the edge of the box. We don't want to cross it in every time, so we move it around the edge of the box and try and find the gaps for those players we've got who are good at shooting from the edge of the box in those positions. We've got several of them. But I just want to see it quickly just happen and just like...
Yeah.
Just put it up them a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that, in a sense, that sounds like your nan talking about football. But it seems like we've got all the difficult stuff sorted.
I learned everything I know about football from my nan.
I learned everything about...
She must have taught you something.
I learned about, bear baiting. She was more of a bear baiter, my nan.
Yeah. I think back in those days, it was either football or bear baiting.
Yeah, you know what Ireland's like. So, anyway, thanks, Nan, for the lessons. And I've applied the rules about bear baiting to I thinking around football?
Yeah, they're very transferable, I think, those ideas.
Good old Nan, she'd always say, get the bear angry. So we're going to apply that to this football
That
match.
flies in the face of the old saying, don't poke the bear. You know, I like
She was a renegade like that. She was a
Yeah,
pioneer.
Free thinker.
Yeah, she was a free thinker around
Yeah.
bear baiting. And I'd like to see that more in Exeter City's play. But, yeah, you just want to see... Taylor's got the difficult stuff sorted. Like, he's got absolutely the right attitude. He's bringing these young players through. The defence, which, if we're honest, is normally the thing that goes absolutely to pot
Yeah.
when a team's struggling, it's not gone to pot. Like, they're getting the odd goal, but I think it's pressure from the midfield that's missing.
We're Crystal Palace of the beginning of this season, aren't we?
Explain that. Expand that for
Well,
us.
they were quite well organised. Roy's got had the defence sorted,
Yeah.
but they couldn't get any goals unless Zaha was playing.
Yeah.
And no one else could score at all. But they've managed to turn that around. So
Yeah, when's
maybe-
Batshuayi coming to Exeter City? I'd like to see that.
we could get him on loan, can we?
I mean, he goes everywhere.
Well, he's actually a Chelsea player, isn't it? And I think they probably owe us.
I mean, I love Missy Batshuayi because hands up for booting the ball into your own face as a goal celebration
yeah, I forgot about that.
off the post.
That was the best thing ever.
If you haven't seen it, listeners, it was in the World Cup last year. I'm sure most of you saw it when he was playing for Belgium. His team scored, and in celebration, he went to boot the ball into the crowd. Misjudged it somewhat, straight into the post and back into his chops.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
So, anyway, I think you're right about the Palace thing. I mean, I don't want to be an owl baiter, because my nan did always say, don't poke the owl.
Yeah,
but,
wise words.
Yeah, Roy, that's right. He understood what was going on there. And I think Taylor he's well aware of what's lacking. There's all this talk of, some good non-league players coming in. And in a sense, we need that. I think loan players coming to us, or sorry to say failed, but folks that haven't made it at the higher level, it's just a really different game.
Yeah.
In a sense, again, don't want to sound like my nan or your racist uncle, but they got it too good. They don't.
Yeah.
They've already got cash in the bank. Their
And the
life
real-
doesn't depend on it.
Obviously, the real benefit of that whole situation is for the parent club, isn't it? They're the ones who really benefit from it.
Yeah.
They're sending him to us.
Yeah.
They don't care whether this player, whoever, helps us towards promotion.
No.
They just want them to get experience.
Yeah.
And fitness and build their strength, build the character and stuff. So they're the ones who really benefit from it.
Yeah.
But I like when we've signed players who are hungrier for
Yeah.
a different kind of success. Like they're pleased to be at that level.
That's right. So here's a question for you. Jamie Reid scoring like mad for Torquay.
Yep.
Would we ever see him come back to City? I mean, people didn't really rate him when he was here, but he's doing great work down there.
How old is he now?
I don't know, early 20s?
Yeah.
Could see it happening.
At this point, I'll take anyone.
There you go. That's the discerning voice of...
No, anyone who's scoring some goals, yeah, why not?
I could see it happening.
It
and that
has
might be
got
quite
to that
interesting.
point a bit, hasn't it?
It has. Taylor's on the lookout. I mean, we've got money coming in, and we've said about the Ampadu thing. Maybe that money will arrive beginning of the season, beginning of next season, before the transfer window closes again. But yeah, whatever happens at the end of this year, promotion or not, we're going to need some filling up, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the injury crisis continues at City with Irish backstop Piers Sweeney out for an injury related to his awful playlist. We should have seen the signs.
Presumably some sort of ear injury.
Yeah, we should. I mean, obviously that's what's happened, or either that or someone's clouted him
Right.
for Bewitched and Keating and Westlife. But he's gone.
Do we know what's really wrong with him?
No, we don't actually.
Or how long he's out for?
No, we don't know that either. But we do know that Jimmy Oates, who was brought in last summer from Hereford and then went back on loan to them, has been recalled from loan. So Taylor's obviously got plans for him. And that's quite interesting given that Troy Brown's back.
Yeah,
So
well,
we're obviously not particularly secure in
I'm guessing that's...
our fullbacks being replaced by centre-backs.
No.
And what does that say about Moxie?
Well, it says probably he's still injured, but
Yeah.
also I don't want, I mean, this is the right side. issue, I suppose. What it does say is that he doesn't want, presumably, Kane Wilson playing right back.
Well, Kane's been someone that's actually given us quite a lot on the wings, isn't it?
Yeah,
So he wants to push him on.
of course. So it looks like maybe that Sweeney injury might be fairly lengthy if he's bothered to bring Jimmy Oates back.
Yeah.
I like Jimmy Oates based on the fact that he's called Jimmy Oates.
James Oates.
And I like how sort of with him in there, I like how many sort of, it sounds like we've got a lot of like Roy of the Rovers characters in our team.
Between war players.
Yeah, Archie Collins.
Yes.
Jimmy Oates.
Absolutely.
Is there any more?
Well, depends if we're calling Randy Williams Randy or not, I suppose.
That's not very Roy of the Rovers, I don't think.
But
yeah,
so.
I like it. But he's an Aussie, isn't he? Let's talk about this. How many? What are the other Aussies we've had? Have we had any other Aussies?
Oh my goodness, I didn't prepare for this.
No.
I don't know that we have.
Me neither.
We put out a conversation around French players, and thanks for some of the responses. You can see them on our Twitter and stuff. I mean, there's a couple there.
There was a couple more that we'd forgotten about, wasn't there?
Yeah.
One in particular.
Wait for it.
No, I can't remember. What was he called? What was he called again?
Steve a PC Titty.
No, not him. Yeah, it was him. Who I accidentally called on our Twitter Steve with 3 E's, isn't it? No, was it 4 E's or something?
Too many E's.
Yeah, anyway, I couldn't get the number of E's right.
No.
So I apologise, Steve, or whatever your name is.
Well, talking of too many E's, someone else has been in touch. Thanks, Ian, for mentioning this. For one of our less successful imports, Ali Chaban.
Yep.
Ali Chaban, 2 A's in his name, but of course, too many E's relates to his drug charges. That I think this is the same Ali Chaban. He's not easily Googleable, but he then went to Bromley and then got charged with dealing drugs.
Oh, dear.
Too many E's. Get the reference?
I get it.
Thank you very much, everyone. So, Sebastian Scalase and Ali Chaban, 2 less successful imports. Dan, I want to talk about this. Less successful, previously successful players, if that's not too weird a clause of a sentence.
Okay.
I want to talk about Don Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
Don Goodman, very critical on Sky Sports of almost everyone.
Yep.
I had high hopes for him. I remembered him coming to play when City were in old Division 3. He came with West Brom at the absolute trough of their plight. I think under Bobby Gould, they came to City and Goodman scored the equaliser. It's the same game that Frank Sinclair headbutted the ref, if you recall, listeners. This is the early 90s, I think. And Don Goodman was great. And I thought, can't believe he's coming to City, someone this good. And we went up to watch him. Shrewsbury away, I think.
Right.
City were at Shrewsbury away in the old Gay Meadow. That's not my name for it. That was his actual name. And Goodman came on and meandered around the edge of the box for the 20 minutes he was on the pitch and had one shot. And if you recall Edgar David's one shot when he came to City playing for Barnet, it was
He did
much
not
the same.
leave the centre circle, Edgar Davids, when he came.
Don Goodman didn't leave the semicircle on the edge of the box. And his shot was what the term high and wide was made for.
Wow.
When in the river.
Brilliant.
Gay Meadow, of course, used to have a man sat in the river on a boat collecting the balls. And I think Goodman's shot was why that was instigated, because it was such an awful shot. So there are other players like this, of course, Lee Sharp being absolute prime. Why? Why does this happen? Like, do you think...
Well, I think it's always just a bit of a calculated gamble, isn't it?
Do you think so?
Well, because and there's other examples. Look at Clinton.
Yeah, I mean,
loved
Clinton
having
had
him
some...
there.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Remember that bicycle kick?
Of course, never forget that. But he had
The
some
imprint
record.
is still on the turf.
We had to fill it in with sand and sawdust for the last 3 years.
That's why that game last Boxing Day got called off, because Clinton Morrison's bicycle kick imprint just got filled up with water.
It's now called Lake Clinton by the ground staff at City. Well, anyway, I mean, that worked. Curitin obviously worked, but surely we know someone who hasn't played for 3 years and they've only been around the edge of Premier League teams isn't going to work. So, you know, whatever.
Brought in for marketing purposes, perhaps.
Maybe so. We sold a lot of shirts with Goodman on the back. I mean, if you got Goodman on the back of your shirt, you're a mug, pal. What were you thinking?
No, imagine having that now, though. That'd be a real kind of piece of history.
That shirt that was sponsored by Juicens, that was, I can only best describe it as a filled-in capital Y.
Yeah.
The 2 points of the Y going from the shoulders, I'm acting this out for Dan, listeners, you don't get the benefit of this, reaching the centre of the Y, the stem of the Y, around the belly button.
Yeah,
remember
where
that?
it meets the shorts. I did. I just posted a picture last night
Oh, was that
of
someone
Lee
wearing
Sharp wearing that
Oh,
kit.
there you go.
It's a disgrace, that kit, isn't it?
Well, we're red and white stripes.
Yeah, where's the stripes?
Where's the stripes? The rest was white. The Y was there, but the rest was white.
Yeah, awful kit.
Awful kit.
Maybe the
awful
worst
period.
kit we've had.
I mean, I think that was the absolute epitome of how awful it got. Lee Sharp, John Sharp.
John was first, wasn't he?
John was first. Oh, I can get my brother in, don't worry.
Yeah.
He brings up his brother. Got him onto an easy number here, and they've got a Y on their shirts. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know who they are. They know who you are. Come along.
Come along, Lee Sharp, for your 5 appearances. So if you want to remind us of other... I mean, we're kind of 90s fans and onwards, so there must have been some 70s and 80s players that were the epitome of that stuff. And Alan Ball didn't really do it. He didn't really bring in his mates. I suppose his mates were a bit too... You know,
Well, Mark
I've got Bobby
Chamberlain
Charlton
was-
in. Hey?
Mark Chamberlain?
Oh,
Was it-
yeah.
That's a bit later on than Alan Ball, I suppose, wasn't it?
Chamberlain was good. He actually was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
wonder if
But
Alex will come
my
now.
friend James Harris actually did message us to say also there was Sheriff Diallo.
Sheriff Diallo.
Remember this guy?
No, I don't. I
he
really
was
don't.
claiming that Tim to be French, although when I looked him up, I don't remember either. He was actually from Senegal, so I'm
So
not sure he
spoke French.
really counts.
No, okay.
Although, yeah,
A reminder of our colonial past. Sheriff Diallo.
yeah.
How many games did he play?
I think about 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, hats off to him, the sheriff.
yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Sheriff, you agree? I don't know what that means. I've just seen it online and I've said it on the podcast.
Outstanding. So Matt Taylor's first season, not just as our manager, but as any manager, starting to draw to a close. And it's the old squeaky bum time, as they say.
Yeah.
Which I hate that phrase, by the way, and I'm terribly sorry for saying it out loud.
I also hate this one, but we're also in it, the business end of the season.
Yeah, it's squeaky bum business, which is probably something else. But we're in it, and it's happening. And we've said throughout this season that anything not relegated would be fine for Taylor's first season.
Yeah.
But in a sense, there's been so much promise.
I know.
It'd be a shame to go out with a whimper, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, actually.
So we've got Colchester at home Saturday.
Yep.
And we need some in. And I don't just mean in terms of the result, but if we've got any chance of progressing, something's going to have to turn up in our
Well, yeah, they need that. The
attitude.
players need that, don't they? They
Yeah.
need something to happen. They need a spark, basically, I think.
Yeah, we do. That's
we
right.
need a Jack Spark.
Good. And if...
He could be the answer. We don't know.
He could be, couldn't he? Remember that screamer he scored?
Yeah.
But we need, something to go on. Because then, actually, we hit Notts County away, who are fighting for their lives, and they're not down in the doldrums. I mean, they are completely in the doldrums, but they're managing to get results.
Yeah.
So we can't go there. And, they're getting big crowds to their home games.
Well, of course, yeah. And, it's a dangerous time to be playing a desperate team, which is what they are, because they don't want to.
No.
Especially after the last few seasons, they don't want to go down, do they? I mean,
No.
no one wants to go down, but them especially. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like I feel for them, because it would be like if that had happened to us.
It would. Yeah, it would. It's dangerous, and it's a dangerous time to be going there feeling lackluster.
Yeah.
Like
So
that.
anyway, but we need goals.
Yeah.
So maybe in that game, unfortunately, they might be a bit wise to this now, but we could attempt what.
Carlisle United.
Yeah,
did.
I can't remember the player's name. This happened last night, Tuesday night. Notts County won 3-1, but the goal they conceded, the Carlisle goal, was one of those ones where the striker's hiding in the goal, and then the keeper
he really was hiding.
Yeah, keeper chucks it out, chucks it down to kick it from the floor. Carlisle striker runs out of the goal, nicks it off him.
I mean, remarkable.
Pass it into an empty net. So they used to do that in the old days all the time, didn't they?
They did. What's really interesting about that is this is the thing that people don't often think about or talk about. It was at home, right? So it was Carlisle at home. So all the Carlisle supporters are on board with what he's trying to do. They will have seen that.
Yeah.
And they will have managed collectively to keep quiet.
Yeah.
Shut up. Presumably, Notts County either didn't have many there or they didn't notice. Perhaps were at the other end. You could imagine this happening at City, couldn't you? And this guy's managed to hide from the keeper and appear, and the keeper's team, and everyone.
Yeah.
They've not managed to get a message to him because he's holding it for quite a long time.
Yeah. I suppose they don't train for that these days. It's a real kind of retro goal.
It was a retro goal. So maybe we're going to need that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're just going to need some in.
I wish we'd thought of it. They're going to be wise to it now, aren't they? You know.
Gutted.
Every time the keeper's got the ball in their hands, those Notts County fans are going to be.
He's never throwing it out of his hands again, is he? He's kicking it out of his hands every time.
He's going to be looking over his shoulder every time
career.
he's got it, yeah.
Well, hats off to them. Good effort. But City are going to need some things. And in the old-fashioned way, you'd think we need a couple of tackles flying in. We maybe need a few bookends. We maybe need some scrambled goals. We maybe need a penalty to go our way.
I wouldn't mind that at this point either. You know,
No.
and like even a bit of the old gamesmanship, because it always feels like, I don't know, probably the other team think that we do this sort of thing just as much, but it always feels like we're getting these things. The other teams, the teams we're playing, are doing all these kind of like gamesmanship tactics.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I hate it, but
We just got to get the job
I
done.
wish we were taking advantage of
Yeah.
some of these, like, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. So Notts County away, we're going to need, like, some of that kind of stuff, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to need to be a nasty. We're going to be, you know, kind of pricks about it, and just see what happens.
Who's nasty in the team? Who have we
Well,
got?
that's kind of the question, isn't it? I mean,
Oates.
Law looks like he is. Bowman, I mean, surely that's where Bowman's kicking someone in the chest will come to absolute four.
Yep. So he's back on the bench, wasn't he, last Saturday? So
Yes.
we can hope at least that he's going to be involved.
And we don't know, but we can assume that maybe Taylor was thinking to start some people Saturday, start some people Tuesday. So I don't think who was on the bench was necessarily a reflection of who was fit or not fit.
No,
He might
probably
have been
not.
saving some for Macclesfield away.
Hopefully, yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. I mean, Taylor, I trust him in a way that I often felt Tisdale was kind of working to his own tune, which was kind of to the detriment of the sensible choice sometimes.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I don't think Taylor's that kind of person. I don't think he's that kind of manager. I love that he's there. I just want to kind of keep saying this. If we don't get promoted, or if we don't get to Wembley or whatever, or even if we come, you know, ninth and miss out on the playoffs, I still think it would have been a good season. I still think he's got loads to work with and done us proud.
Yeah.
Loads of young players, loads of young loan players, actually boosted our portfolio, this is a tragic thing to say, but of people we might sell in the future, rather than just loanees that will come and go. And, you know, we've
Yeah.
had some really good loanees.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, signings he's made, I mean, considering, again, people have been critical of some of them, but it's his first season.
Yeah.
He's not ever bought any players before.
No.
A good number of them have been really good signings that will, you know, hopefully will go on to be, like, kind of useful players for us for
Yeah.
a few years to come.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of them are going to work out, but he's new. He's
Yeah.
not done this before. I think, again, along with, like, wherever we finish in the division come the end of the season, yeah, it's not going to be a disgrace, is it? And it's still going to be progress on it. And yeah,
Absolutely. I think it could be, if we don't go up, I think we'll look at this season as great for building stuff. If we do go up, I think League One's not too different, that we won't struggle up there with a few additions to this squad. And I really like how he seems to be planning ahead. So some of our best players are our loan players, obviously the two West Brom lads, Wilson and O'Shea, but actually there are other options in those positions of people who are coming on and learning from those people.
Yeah.
O'Shea's been incredible, there's no doubt about it, but we've got actually really good centre-backs who have been in and around him, and similarly with kind of fast players, Wilson's been brilliant, but we've got other options of people who are fast, who are coming in.
Yeah.
So
let's say those players, you know, they're going to, aren't they? Kane Wilson and O'Shea leave at the end of the season.
Yeah.
there's not a big hole where you're like, how are we going to fill this like there was with Jayden Stockley?
Yeah.
There's reasons to be kind of optimistic, definitely.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens on the pitch this season.
And I think that people don't really talk about this, but I'd like to kind of flag it up. I think Kyle Edwards was a massive loss for us beginning of this season. I think he was such a good player. Like, remember, you think back to it now, Wilson didn't really impress that much. We had kind of moments of thinking, oh, he's quick and he could be good. But
he was the second of the two to flourish, wasn't he? And I think towards the end of the season, Kane Wilson was showing some real promise. And I think Edwards had
he was a year further on, wasn't he?
But he'd started to drop off, whereas he had he had the faster kind of at the beginning of the season. He was straight in there.
Yeah. So I think that it's great that Taylor's thinking not just about loanies for this year, but no, we're set. Because I often felt like Tisdale was stubborn in kind of every sense, and often stubborn about, I don't think they're going to get injured. I kind of felt like that was his attitude. And when they did get injured, he was like, well, of course we've got injuries.
Yeah.
But you're working with 30 blokes who you'd kind of hope, you might think to yourself, well, I'm not getting 50 games out of any of these players.
Yeah.
So what am I doing for the other 20, 25, 30 games?
The other thing about, I think, with the success of O'Shea and Kane Wilson is, I mean, this already happened carrying on from last season. We had Kane back, and then we got Dara. I mean, why would they not want to loan us some more players in the future? Look at Dara O'Shea. He's like, they must be looking at him and going like, okay, this guy could really be, could potentially be the future of like West Brom as a centre back, because he's I think he's not far off considering his age.
Yes,
you got to think like if he carries on the way he's going, like he could easily a championship quality.
Absolutely.
Centre back.
Yeah, certainly. So it'd be interesting with West Brom because, of course, Darren Moore's just been sacked. But I think their systems...
that's true, yeah.
But I think their systems, of course, the last lot of loan players came in before Moore.
Yeah, true,
So I think their systems kind of allow them to kind of... The managers come and go, but the stuff stays the same. So we'll see.
And, of course, next season we'll have Jayden Stockley back on loan.
Oh, Stockley. It's miserable, isn't it, thinking about he's just gone there to sit on the bench. But there we are.
And sort of telling Aberdeen players to not take the big money move to Aston Villa or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he said, wasn't it? That was in the Daily Post this
week.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of regret? Is that a bit of regret coming through, Jayden?
So if you didn't pick up on this, listeners, Stockley's been giving some advice to former Aberdeen teammates who've been kind of thriving and saying, no, don't come to England for the big money move. Stay where you are.
Yeah, stay there, develop.
Yeah.
And maybe that's slightly different because, Jayden's a bit older. But, I don't know. I like to think that he slightly regrets it. Like, I should have stayed. Should have stayed with my mates.
Yeah. Well, he could be in Casper's too, couldn't he? But there we are. That's a different matter.
Presumably Bowman wouldn't be here, so Stockley would be in Casper's on his own.
Oh, that's a sad story. All right, Jayden. Well, stay where you are for now, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see you back here next season. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. It's been good to talk to you. Get in touch as always. I'd like to hear about your star names who came to City who it just didn't work out for. They booted it high and wide into a different river, perhaps. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Yep, cheers.
We'll see you next week.